Isn't this easier than doing Miitopia without a job?
Shush! No, no it is not. Welcome one and all to... this. So yeah, Miitopia with only a horse. Is it possible? Of course not, but we have the technology, so I modded the horse into the very start of the game. A lot of you requested this too, after I did Jobless, and that's why we're here. Now, a few things with this. I cannot release the mod because it, hardly works. Secondly, I will only do damage with the horse, if that was unclear. Next, we won't be having any teammates. Again. Yippee! The reason for that is because, well, I can't stop the party member Miis from attacking without the horse. And trust me, I tried. Along with that, I took away all of the damaging skills from every job, except for one each. The reason is so that I can have a turn skip, since I can't make the horse activate every turn, or even more often, so I just have a 0 MP skill that has a 0 times multiplier. Sadly, this still does 1 damage, because damage can't go lower than 1, but like, it's negligible. Lastly, I made Mounted Attack a level 1 friendship skill instead of 2, because who cares? It was the best way to do this. Anyways, let's start. I got my horse, and bestowed upon him the most beautiful and elegant of names, Lawnmower. I picked Chef as my starting job because it has such a high defense stat, a pretty decent weapon attack stat, and can heal. I also picked Stubborn because it's very much just me, and I don't really think that my personality trait matters for this challenge. Why does weapon attack stat matter though, when I won't be doing any attacking on my own? Because Mounted Attack, at the very least, deals damage depending on that particular stat. Not my attack stat, only my weapons, as well as my friendship level with the horse. Also, I had so much trouble just getting the start of this to work functionally, and had to get some help from my friend Kobazko, as per usual, just to get it all together. The very start of the game wasn't too bad. Sure, waiting for the horse to activate would cost me a lot of health, but I still had HP sprinkles. I didn't have to grind for hours just to be able to beat the butterfly boss, which was a relief. Things quickly went downhill though. Remember how I removed teammates because they are a hassle? Well, when you get hit by a status condition, you can have your AI change to something that is similar to a teammate's. This means that when banshees made me cry, I would have no control over my actions and might just attack them, without using Lawnmower. So yeah, not good. Hey though, let's cross that bridge later, and focus on the easier parts for now. The path with Cumulus and the rock boss was not too bad, because Lawnmower could at least one-shot a Cumulus. Before I got to the rock boss, I had already gotten the skills Home Cooking, Snort, and Horse Whispering. Home Cooking is good, because obviously I got to heal, but also because I just felt bad if I did a lot of damage with my 0 multiplier skill, so I refrained from it by spamming Home Cooking all of the time. Snort also helped me get through a lot of enemy groups, which would have sucked if I had to attack them individually, while waiting for Lawnmower to actually do the fighting. Best of all, of course, was Horse Whispering. I, never actually used Horse Whispering before this, so don't judge me. The chef's Horse Whispering is super strong though, dealing lots of damage across the enemies with a bit of RNG. Something funny about it that I'm sure a lot of you know better than I do is that the skill matches your max MP, so that brings up a bit of a conflict. My best attack takes more MP the more of it that I have, but also, I can use my job skills more often if I have more MP, even if those are only healing skills. Anyways, I beat the rock boss on the first try with this. It wasn't as easy as I make it out though. It still took over an hour to get to that point. Before going to this path, I actually tried to fight the mouse boss first, but lost horribly. I did get EXP from the enemies on the way though, which helped with the rock boss of course. The hard part about the mouse boss, aside from its damage output, was the fact that the smile shrooms rendered me helpless. They didn't make my Mii act on her own, but still, I lost turns to it. When I went back with the horse whispering though, yeah, it was pretty easy. Since the bosses are always at the center of these fights, the chef's horse whispering in particular was great, because each shot not only dealt damage to the main enemy that it hit, but also the ones adjacent to them as well. Also, I just think that you should all appreciate the cute animations of the horse. So, things are all turning up Crafter, right? Wrong. We have to go to the waterfall cave, my most beloathed area in Greenhorn. Banshees! Yay! Banshees make me cry, and they do it very often. Not to mention the fact that there's like a colony of them in there. The first battle is already bad enough. I have to get past 3 of them, but then, if I go up, there are some more, and going right, there's like 2 more battles, and one of them has banshees. Not to mention, they deal a lot of damage. So first things first, I had to use my horse whispering to kill the first set of them, because I could not kill them with just Snort. So there went my main stores of MP, right at the start of this path. I could have theoretically just used Snort twice, but then I would have more likely than not got the crying status, and would end up just attacking them. And you know the rules, I can only deal damage with the horse, so if I attack them while I'm crying, I of course need to retry. Aside from just killing them, the best way to avoid that was to just stay at low health. If I was at low enough health, the AI would just make me eat an HP banana, and I just had to hope that the crying status would end soon, otherwise I would need to run. At this point, I didn't even have Neigh, because it's a level 20 friendship skill with the horse. Sure, I could have just grinded for it, but then I'd have to grind, which means waiting for Lawnmower to attack. Over. And over. Again. I don't want to do that. So, I fought the Banshees a ton, used Snort to clear out all the apple jellies, and did absolutely everything possible to destroy the Banshee in the next battle. Snort helped me clear out the rest of the enemies, and I just had to get in a good mounted attack in after that. It took many tries, and I hope to never do that again. Anyways, I went to the final and most difficult boss of the starting area, the Imp. I was not prepared, since my magic stat was pretty much non-existent. You can't expect me to raise that when I'm a physical job, and the only thing that drops magic food here is the Banshees. On the bright side, my physical defense was through the roof, so I could take those hits much better. After losing to this boss several times, I got good RNG between the horse, and if the Imp used physical or magic attacks. I took it out in a very satisfying way by blasting it full of fireballs. The way to the castle was a bit annoying to say the least. There's one fight that has smile shrooms and banshees, which is an issue. Luckily, the laughing status can overwrite crying, but it goes the other way around too. So, my turn either got wasted, or I had to retry. Eventually, I was lucky enough to solve the problem with the method you should probably expect. The rest was super easy, for a while even. I was quite lucky on my way to get the king's face back, as it only took me a few tries to get past all the banshees in the forest, and there were actually quite a few. The forest did somehow get a tad bit scarier though, since there were some normal enemies with magical attacks, the poison moths. Oh, and there were also banshees there too. The solution? You guessed it, fire! The actual Golem boss was pretty tough, but the only issue was our stat difference, which I could deal with. As a chef, the fact that they did a lot of damage and I didn't do enough could be solved with some frying pans. This is why we picked chef after all. The defense boost from frying pans is helpful, especially when there are so many weak physical attacking enemies in Greenhorn. Before actually defeating the Golem, I went to the Arid Frontier for stats and a chest, and it wasn't too bad overall. The worst thing that it could throw at me for now was lightning clouds, another magical attacker. I also appreciated the defense boost that I got from chalk rocks around here, even more so considering we have to pick new jobs in the later areas, in which I'll have less defense. Going back to fight the Golem, I could now take more hits, add more sprinkles so that I could refill my MP for healing, and did more damage, so it was easy. I went to go check on Sunny, tried my luck with a golden snurp, and now had to deal with the griffin. This was rough, but I knew I could do it. I didn't make it the first time around, because the griffin's status ability is just really good against me. It could make me scared or cry, one of which is worse than the other for obvious reasons, so whenever it made me cry, I had to retry the battle. Luckily, I had pretty good equipment at this point, which meant more powerful attacks from the horse, and Lawnmower just so happened to bless me with good RNG. After beating the griffin, I got the calming fruit, and had to fight the imps back at the castle. The little imps were no big deal, but the boss was some trouble. At this point, I had got an A, which meant that I could snap out of the evil status, but it did still manage to make the fight harder. The longer I spent being evil, the less turns that I'd have to roll the horse RNG, and the more turns that the imp would have to deal damage on me. Oh yeah, the imp did a ton of damage too. So, after several losses, I decided that I needed to grind a bit. I mostly just wanted sprinkles for horse whispering and healing, so I went to a spot that had a chance to spawn a ton of apple jellies in the Arid Frontier. There is a spot in the cave that is guaranteed, but that has banshees, so it was out of the question. Not to mention, I could get defense foods out here, so that's pretty good too. After some more attempts, I got through with the help of Cheek Rub, keeping my MP topped off for healing. Next, I had to rescue the princess's face, which is actually a fight I have been looking forward to. No statuses, no special skills, just a brute force brawl between Gorilla and a chef on a horse. I did have a slight holdup in making my way there, because the mage goblins were actually kinda strong, but it was nothing that I couldn't deal with in the end. Of course, I opened up the battle with horse whispering as often as I could, but the damage was far from enough. Still, it was a very good start though. I made sure to use all that was at my disposal, from candies to bananas. The bananas healed the same as my home cooking did at this point, and I wanted to get a head start on eating enough to make them stronger. Candies would also help me use my spare turns to replenish MP, and hopefully pull off another horse whispering. With Cheek Rub and my MP sprinkles, I was able to load up on MP, and finally, after several hours spent in Greenhorn, I took out the last boss in the area. However, last but not least, I had to finish the final stage of the Arid Frontier. Excuse the low frame rate, by the way, the emulator was running a bit poorly this day. Anyways, all the lightning clouds, mage goblins, and nose rocks proved to be trouble in the past, but Lawnmower was super strong, especially paired with me. I was able to sweep through all the enemies fairly easily, and like that, I had made it to the end of Greenhorn. As per usual, my job reset, and many more worlds awaited completion. However, this video is long enough. Sorry to cut it so soon, but don't worry. You'll get the rest of the challenge, and I'll even do the post-game for you all. You just gotta wait a little longer while I actually complete it. If you want to see that, and all the other weird stuff that I do, be sure to subscribe so that you can see when I upload. And you can even join the Discord, where I send out notifications for each video too. So, I hope you all enjoyed your time with me and Lawnmower. With that all said and done, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!